The Toy Story movies are very much beloved movies that are still massively popular today. It is one of those rare movie series that is just so perfect and well made. The four Toy Story movies are classics and, in a way, all improve on each other. The focus of the movies are always on Woody, and in each movie, he grows as a character. From not being the favourite toy, to considering if he should move on from his owner, from being passed down to another child, and then in Toy Story 4, he leaves his friends to be a lost toy, ending his character arc. But here's the thing, I don't think this is the end of his character arc. I still think that there's a good, necessary story to be told that will build on the story and expand the characters. So today I'm going to be pitching the idea for Toy Story 5. Okay, so the movie takes place 15 years after the events of Toy Story 4. Buzz, Jessie, Slinky Dog, and Bullseye are a few of the last remaining toys at Bonnie's house. They are in a box and they're about to be given away to a second-hand store, with some other old items in the box like old clothing and books. The other toys have been given away over time throughout the years. There may even be a little montage at the start of the movie showing what happened to the other toys. These are the toys that managed to stay together after all these years without being split apart. They are loaded into a truck that is delivering things to the second-hand store. They sit in the box awaiting who might be their next child. We cut to the next scene. We see Woody and Bo, who have been lost toys for a long time now, are going about their daily life, which is getting toys to new owners. They normally travel around with the fair, but sometimes they'll go home with a child that found them and have some playtime. Woody does love the life of being a lost toy, but sometimes he does wish to have a permanent kid again like Andy and Bonnie, because getting only a little bit of playtime isn't enough anymore. He hasn't told Bo this because it would break them apart, so he kept quiet. One night at the carnival, they are hiding in one of the tents. Some of the people who are running the carnival are watching a news report, and something comes up that immediately catches Woody's attention. Andy, his original owner, is on the screen, and it reveals that he's now a best-selling author and he's travelling around the globe with his wife and 3-year-old son promoting his new book. We see Woody stare at the screen, but the report suddenly takes a turn. Unfortunately, the book tour has to be cut short in time due to Andy's ongoing struggle with amnesia after a bookshelf fell on him last spring. The report ends and we see Woody run out of the tent in shock. He decides that this is his last chance to be with Andy. It takes a little to persuade Bo, but she gives in and they have 3 days to get to the end of the book tour before it finishes up and Andy heads home. While Woody and Bo head off on their adventure, we cut back to Buzz, Jessie, Slinky, and Bullseye, who are being loaded off the truck in the box and put out the back of the second-hand store. They struggle to get out of the box due to it being taped up. Close by, Woody and Bo are walking down the street near the second-hand store and are chased by a dog or some type of plot convenience, and they crash into the box that the toy's in, reuniting them all. Woody explains the situation and they agree to join him and Bo and they go on their way. This is the first act of the movie and it reintroduces the characters, it sets up the plot into action, there are clear stakes because they only have a limited amount of time to solve the problem, and it reunites the characters again. Now, as they head off on their adventure, it gives the characters time to develop. An example of this might be Bo telling the other toys how great a life of being a lost toy is, as Woody still hides the secret that he wants a kid again. And during this time, we can also redevelop the characters' friendships, like Woody and Buzz, who haven't seen each other in 15 years. During the middle of the movie, the toys can get into some problems along the way, like meeting other toys and getting into some pretty funny situations. One of these might be getting into trouble with a bunch of toys called the Toy Torture Squad, the main antagonists in this film. They are a group of misunderstood toys with a dark past who torture toys for the fun of it. Bo had some trouble with them a few years back, and they get into some trouble with the squad. They have a massive fight and they just escape, but in the process, Bo loses her arm. They only have a few hours to get there, and Woody and Bo get into a huge argument which involves Bo yelling at Woody why he wants to go back to Andy so much. Woody then finally admits that he doesn't want to be a lost toy anymore, and he's only getting back to Andy because he wants to have an owner again. Bo is heartbroken by this and runs off. The other toys, quiet and not speaking to each other, head off to the book tour. They get to the city where the book tour is taking place, and It's in a massive auditorium on the other side of the city. Only a few hours until it ends, Woody is determined to get there, but he's still thinking about Bo and how he left things with her. When they are in the city, they have to avoid being seen, so they are ducking behind cars in a traffic jam, avoiding getting hit. They get to a massive river that runs through the city, and as they are nearly there, they jump onto boats that are going across the river, trying to get across. As they are nearly across the river, Slinky slings himself to the other side, and the other toys climb over him. Woody, who was the last one climbing across Slinky, sees that he can't hold on much longer. He is slowly breaking. Slinky tells him that he can't hold on, and tells Woody to jump off his Slinky to the other side and leave him. Woody, who refuses, does eventually agree, when Slinky tells him to take care of Andy for him. Woody quickly dives to the other side of the river, and just as he does, Slinky's sling snaps in half, and he falls into the water. The toys, devastated, must go on. They run down an alley, and just as they're about to get to the book tour, the Toy Torture Squad stops them. Andy's toys and the Toy Torture Squad get into a massive fight. Just as they are about to be defeated, Bo swoops in to help. They tell Woody to go on, and he hesitantly does. He enters the auditorium and it's empty. He is too late. Woody hears someone coming behind him and he quickly falls to the floor. A man who is packing up picks up Woody, and Woody notices who it is straight away. It's Andy. He looks much older now, but he's still recognisable. Andy stares at Woody, but he puts him back on the floor and keeps continuing packing up. Andy can't remember who Woody is due to his amnesia. Woody, who is on the floor, is distraught, and we see that he is alone on the floor, and the whole journey has been for nothing. Suddenly, Woody hears the son of Andy, who is running around the seats while his dad is packing up. He runs into Woody and he picks him up. He looks just like Andy as a kid. He starts to play with him, and as Andy tells him it's time to go, he looks down at his son playing with a cowboy doll. Andy has a sudden recollection, and he smiles down and says, "Woody." The toys reunite again, and Woody and Bo fix their problems. The reason why Bo wants to be a lost toy is because she is too scared of losing her kid again. But after Woody has a long chat with her, she comes home with Andy and the rest of the toys. In the final scene of the film, we see Andy's kid, who is also called Andy, playing with Woody, Buzz, Jessie, Bo Peep and Bullseye in the same way that Andy did in the first Toy Story, completing the full circle of Toy Story. So what do you think of Toy Story 5? Is it possible that they one day might make it? Comment down below what you think of my version of the story. If this video gets 10 likes, I will definitely go into writing other Pixar sequels and maybe even expand into some other series like Harry Potter and Star Wars, so make sure to like this video. Thank you so much for watching, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next Friday.